Okay, so name number 80. Kramah. Kramah means literally step. And also, as in English, we say step by step. That means gradually or methodically. So, Kramah is a name for Krishna, which means that he is the basis for the order in the universe. He oversees how everything unfolds. Step of this here in this verse, Vikrama, Vikrami, these names have been given, which are names for, it's not mentioned here, Urukrama, Vamana, Trivikrama, the ones whose step, Krishna is most famous. So many people, they go to great lengths to become famous. Someone sails around the world single-handed. Someone swims. Did anyone ever swim across the Baltic Sea? I guess they must have done, right? Many times. It's a common thing to swim across the English Channel. So that's quite a feat. I mean, I couldn't swim across the Baltic Sea. It's about 80 kilometers? After about 80 meters is about my limit, not 80 kilometers. So, all kinds of things, people, I heard one time they ate a car to get in the Guinness Book of Records. They had it all ground down into powder, and they took a little bit every day, and after some years, they'd eaten a car just to get in the Guinness Book of Records. What a stupid thing to do. So Krishna, he doesn't have to, Krishna just by stepping, he becomes famous. All of us take steps, right? We step from one place to another. Hare Krishna. But Krishna, by stepping, he does something quite extraordinary. We can also remember the steps of Krishna in Vrindavan. The inhabitants of Vrindavan take that to be so sacred that wherever there are Krishna's footprints in the dust with all the symbols of Krishna, then all the humans, the cows, the deer, they all take care not to step there. So even his stepping is something quite extraordinary. So, the order in the universe, we take it for granted that the sun rises every day, it sets every day, rises in the east every day. What would happen if the sun rose in the west? It's unthinkable, isn't it? It's just unthinkable. But actually, if you think about it, the universe is extraordinarily complex. And if some chemical factory is set up, it might be controlled by a computer, which takes quite some programming to program a chemical factory. But even a chemical factory, it's not nearly as complex as, say, some cells in our body. What to speak of the whole body and how at every moment it's like a kaleidoscope. Every time you turn it, there's a different configuration. So this whole universe, there's just so many things happening at every moment at the microcosmic level and at the macrocosmic level. And Krishna just keeps it all in order. That's years ago when I was living in Calcutta, I got completely convinced of the existence of God because it's such a chaotic place. And somehow or other it goes on day by day. There's everything's just totally chaos. But it goes on. There must be God. Otherwise Calcutta couldn't run on. So, how each moment evolves into the next, and all under the control of Krishna. Even there is chaos, but it's all within a greater scope. It's controlled. Like if a volcano erupts, and then there's chaos, or there's a forest fire, there's chaos, or there are riots, but within the broader system, everything's under the control of Krishna. So Krishna is the basis for the order in the universe, which we just take for granted. And the scientists are so snotty. That's a good word. Snotty means like puffed up. Snot means the stuff that comes out of your nose. That they just presume there's no God in control, and we are studying it, and we shall control it, and we shall tell everyone global warming. Oh well, we threw that theory out. Now we have a new theory, and they go on, and they're just talking nonsense. But they should just recognize Krishna is the supreme controller. Krishna is, Kramah also means that Krishna is the one who controls and bestows the power of movement. So again, we just take it for granted, just like you're moving your leg. Now, sit properly. So you just take it for granted that you can move your leg, right? But if Krishna doesn't allow it, you can't move it. And as long as you can move your leg, you think, well, what's Krishna got to do with it? I'm moving it. Again, an example from my personal life. I'm supposed to be talking about Krishna here, but we can give some personal realizations also. One morning, this was, 20 years, something like that, 20 years, maybe a little less ago, in the winter, in Vadodara, in Gujarat. I woke up in the morning, 3:30, something like that, as usual. In the winter, it doesn't get as cold as here, but it gets quite cold, and we don't have heating in the rooms, so it's quite cold. So I woke up, and as usual, I have to go to the bathroom and take off my kurta prior to bathing. But I couldn't take it off. I couldn't move my arm at all. I'd been gone completely stiff due to the cold. I just couldn't move it. We don't think, we just take it for granted. Okay, time to take it. I couldn't move it at all. So I can't remember exactly what I did, whether I got someone to help me take off the kurta, but I couldn't move it. Later on in the day, as it got a little warmer, I was able to move it. We just completely paralyzed. So then I had some realization that, well, we just take it for granted that we can move our body. But if Krishna removes that power of locomotion, then we can't move at all. And more recently I had an operation, so they gave me a jab. And then within about 2 minutes, the whole lower body, I couldn't move it at all. Just couldn't move it. So many things we take for granted, but Krishna is the underlying basis of everything. Another meaning of Kramah, step, means that his steps are everywhere. He pervades everything. In Bhagavad Gita, there's that verse, Sarvata panipadam tat sarvatokshi sharomakam. What's the rest of it? Sarvato shrutimaloke sarvam avritya tishtati. His hands and legs are everywhere. So his legs are everywhere. That means he steps everywhere. His eyes are everywhere. His heads are everywhere. His mouths are everywhere. He covers and pervades everything. So his steps, another meaning of Kramah, is that He pervades everything. So, this Kramah means systemization, sequence, ordering. Whenever, just like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives so many examples of how when we see something exceptional, we can remember Krishna. So we have Stavaranam Himalaya. Krishna among the immovable objects, He is the Himalayas. Mriganam cha mrigendro cha, among the animals, He is the lion. So like this. So similarly, when we see some well-ordered system, we spoke quite a bit today about strategic planning. I don't know how well ordered it is, but if we do, sometimes we see like an ISKCON temple which is very well run, like generally people say about ISKCON Juhu. It's very well organized. We may see some government agency or whatever. It's very well organized, so we can see that this is a reflection of Krishna's ability. Krishna gives the ability to do everything. Paurushang Nrishu, He is the ability in man. So another, He is responsible for the power of, one who has great prosperity. This Parashara Bhatta, the Sri Vaishnava commentator, taking from Parnini, that Vritta Sarga Tayaneshu Kramaha. Kramah means continuity, energy or good progress or development. So Parashara Bhatta, then development, he takes this to mean one who has great prosperity. Another meaning, one of the names, Vikrama, that was just given, means he who travels on Garuda. But another meaning of Kramah means his steps are everywhere, means he can travel everywhere even without Garuda. So generally he travels on Garuda, just like he came to Gajendra on Garuda. But he appeared before Dhruva Maharaj just by himself. So, to give mercy to Garuda, and because he likes Garuda, he travels on Garuda. But he doesn't need Garuda. He's independent. So that's another meaning of the name Kramah. There's also in recitation of shlokas, there's Kramapat, which is a somewhat complex way. Well, to us it seems complex, of reciting shlokas. And what do? You write something like you recite the first syllable and the second syllable, something like this. Second syllable, then the second syllable, and the third syllable, and the third syllable, and the first syllable. Like this. It's a method of memorizing verses. Kramapat. But that's not really connected here in the name Kramah, as far as I can understand. Although everything's connected to Krishna. Now, another name we were mentioning a few times today. Name 81. Anuttamah. Name for Krishna. Anuttamah. Anuttamah means, Uttama means above all others, and so that's the name for Krishna, Uttama. And to give more stress to the name, we say Anuttama, which means that there is no one above him. So, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mataf parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai protamidang sutram. So what am I saying? Mai sarvamidang protam sutre manigana eva. Krishna says to Dhananjaya, Arjuna, there is nothing superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. So, nothing is superior to Krishna. That is a basic principle of his Godhead. It's quite often asked, people who ask this question think that it's a very intelligent question and they really caught you out, but it's actually a stupid question. They say, well, if God created everything, who created God? It's a stupid question, because God means the one who is superior to all. The very definition of God is the origin of everything, who has no origin. So they think they're being very intelligent, but it's actually a stupid question. So, the very meaning, or why we're extolling Vishnu, why should we extol him and discuss him, and why has this been going on since time immemorial? Because he is Anuttamah. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's no one superior to him. And nor will there ever be anyone superior to him. He is eternally and in all respects supreme. No, I can't read my writing. No one better. Yeah. If we try to find someone who is better than Krishna in any way, we will not find. Krishna is the best at everything. In all respects, Krishna is supreme. And these 1,000 names of Vishnu, they in various ways demonstrate how Krishna is the best. That's why Bhrigu Muni, when he was sent to find out who is the best, Brahma, Shiva or Vishnu, he found that Vishnu is the best, and in all respects Vishnu is the best. We should want the best, the highest. Why should we settle for anything less? Why should we be content with anything mediocre? We have an eternal, intimate, natural, profound relationship with the highest and best person. So we should seek out the best. Don't be content with less. So even Krishna himself, he recognizes, he says, no one is superior to me. Many people think like that, but only Krishna is correct in thinking like this. So, we can compare this to, the foolish people who think that they are the best. Ishvaro ham. The demons think, I am the controller. Aham bhogi, I am the enjoyer. But they're not. They think like that. Even one may be a very successful demon. That's another name coming up. Kriti, successful. And I can make that too. They may be a very successful demon. And they think that there is no one superior to them. But, just like Ravana, he thought he was unassailable. That's another name. That's the next name coming up. But he was killed by Rama. So the demons may think they are Anuttamah, and they may apparently be Anuttamah, that no one is superior to them. But then Vishnu comes and shows who is actually Anuttamah, the one who is on top of all others. Now, like many names in Vishnu Sahasranama, this meaning can be turned around also and denied. When we say Krishna, there's no one superior to him, that is an ontological fact. It is the basic, is the basis of understanding of reality, because Krishna is reality. But when we come to Vrindavan, everything is turned upside down. And in Vrindavan, it is a great question. Who is supreme? Krishna or Radha? And some people say Krishna is supreme, including Krishna. He says he's supreme. But Radha doesn't accept that. And nor do her friends accept that. So there's competition of love between Radha and Krishna. Of course, it's all Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, which is not very translatable. So I hope you all understand what it means. But Krishna himself, sometimes he submits. Dehi padda pallava plavaham. Please give me your... Which even the Jayadev Goswami, in writing Gita Govinda, he didn't want to write that line, that Krishna is begging for Radha to give to him her lotus foot. So it's a highly controversial matter. But there is superior to Krishna also. But it's not something that we broadcast very widely. We're just trying to bring people to the understanding that nothing or no one is equal to or superior to Krishna. But when one gets to the advanced level, then all of a sudden there is superior. But then again, Radha and Krishna, they're one. Radha, Krishna, ek vastu nahi kichu bhed. They are the same. There's no difference. So that's also the Radha, Krishna, Pranaya, Vikriti, Haladini, Shakti. Ekatmana. They are one Atma. They're just like the picture used to be in Srila Prabhupada's room when he was present in Calcutta of Radha and Krishna. They're intertwined in one form. They're one. So these are all, we can say, mysterious facts. They're beyond normal philosophy. So that's not something we discuss very much. But in the very highest level, Krishna is not Anuttamah. Not the best. Radha is the best. Okay, that's all I'm going to say now, unless there are any questions about this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shri Gaura Nitai ki jai. Hare Krishna.